I really liked that movie, but I completely forgot it was his.
And yet it's the only reason I saw it in theaters is because it was his. You think I'm going to get out there for Ryan Gosling?
Well, Ryan Gosling's worth seeing, usually. But Shane Black, I'll just put it this way. I do feel like there's atonement. And these ones you're talking about, his best work, it's because he's lived through hell and he can tell the tale. That's what usually makes his films interesting. Both Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang are as much about Hollywood as they are about middle-aged men who are still immature and need to grow up. And I just think that that's a milieu he knows. So that's kind of what I'm expecting him to bring to The Predator. When I see these trailers that has a bus full of army vets that have mental problems, I'm thinking that's the movie he wants to make.
Also, though, come on. Shane Black was in the original Predator. So him being here, we're all having some sort of an expectation because of who he was and his presence in the first movie.
Yeah, definitely. You forget he didn't write the original because he was known more as a screenwriter than an actor. I don't even know why he was in the film, I guess for the pussy jokes. But yeah, the fact that he gets to come back and steer this franchise, I guess that's some kind of nostalgia. It's not Arnold, but it's at least something coming back.
What's really funny is how different he looks today than he did back then. Like, unrecognizable. I watched some interviews with him discussing this movie, and the entire face shape is different. The voice is different. I would not have known that it was the same guy. But it was fun having him there. He was the talky one, and I always wondered if he did help make that movie a little better, being such a sharp writer on set, and the only one who didn't spend all his time in the gym, possibly. The illegal chemicals he used were not steroids. But yeah, I'm excited to see him come back to something that's probably very important to him. I mean, a very early role of his and something that helped form his film identity. I was really excited that he was coming back to do this.
And yet I knew this movie was in trouble. Again, this movie, I think it was supposed to come out a year before. It was stopped, production halted a couple times. Rewriting. I heard from some people that worked on the set at Fox that things weren't going well. Not always a sign of a bad film, but at least a film that was under stress. And Fox has a reputation at this point of taking people with creative visions and forcing them to make compromises that aren't for the better of the project.
Yeah, but Fox has not really done The Predator right. And I did like this movie starts with a 20th Century Fox logo, and it is like, well, this is the last. The next one, if it has that logo, it's merely for nostalgia reasons, but I didn't know any of that. I couldn't even remember the fact that this movie was supposed to come out early this year.
Yeah.
And it had some major reshoots. It had a test screening that was disastrous. And what I also was completely unaware of is that the original script leaked back in 2016. And I finally got my hands on that script that Fox's lawyers have been trying to eradicate from the internet. And I can tell you what the movie was and now what the movie is.
Ooh.
I definitely can see that there are moments missing. And I do know part of why there is some jumping around here is because they cut a actor out. That Me Too came at this movie because one of the actors was, a sexual predator?
All right, I can give you all the story. Shane Black, Fred Decker isn't his only friend. He has a friend named Stephen Wilder Striegel, and Stephen has been having some legal troubles in the past. He is a convicted sex offender for writing explicit emails to his underage niece about how badly he wants to fuck her, but he won't fuck her because she's his underage niece. And then, I guess, brother-in-law or brother saw these emails, gave them to the cops, and Stephen did time. He pleaded guilty to trying to lure the 14-year-old girl into a sexual relationship.
Okay, so he's probably on to Catch a Predator, but he ain't going to be in The Predator.
No, and he was in Iron Man 3, although I cannot figure out where. He was apparently in The Nice Guys, and he was here. Now, I found out where that scene was and everything. It was part of Olivia Munn's introduction. I had read the only main character he interacted with was Olivia Munn, and it was Olivia Munn who somehow found out he was a convicted sex predator, went to Fox and the media, and Fox cut the scene out. We lose nothing, except later in the movie, there's one moment where she says, I wish people would stop calling me Sunshine. And it had only happened once. Yeah, it happened once again, but they cut that scene. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks before the movie came out. So.
Oh, see, I thought he was the star because this movie is incredibly jerky, like really wildly thrown together, edited and re-edited. I had to see this film twice because I knew I needed to be able to talk coherently about why things happen in it. And I also had to be sure what I thought. I was like, there are things about this that make it the best Predator movie ever. And then there are things that I just don't think fly. So I needed to see it twice. I went Friday, IMAX, 15 people, nobody there. And then I went back Monday for a matinee and there was one guy there. So both times I didn't get much sense of a crowd reaction, but I have seen the film twice.
I also saw it twice. I went Thursday opening night to the very first IMAX showing, and it was, I'd say, about half full. The one thing I found interesting, everyone looked of age to have seen Predator in theaters in the 80s. No new people were there. Right. Now, I did see it again, not necessarily because I needed to confirm my ranking at the end of this show, although it did help. But you said there were things in the movie you didn't understand. There were things in the movie I didn't understand called the dialogue. I shit you not. Today, I went to the movie and I went up to the person. I said, can I have one of your closed captioning boxes? And I put this in and it was this long, like, you know, those lamps that have the bendy necks. Mm-hmm. So it goes in your cup holder with a bendy neck and I could read the movie. Because honestly, I walked out the first time thinking there was a homosexual relationship between Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane. Because there's some scene and all I got out of it was, isn't that romantic? And I'm like, wait, what are you saying? You're mumbling everything. I can't hear you. So if it was a Blu-ray, I'd have just turned on closed captioning. So I did it in the theater, read the movie. Nope, no gay relationships.
Okay, I had no problem understanding the dialogue. I thought I understood the plot pretty well. My biggest problem was the amazing movie logic that was happening, but we can talk about that as we go later. But I did have the same experience you did, Arnie, is that everyone in my theater was of age, but no one seemed to get the references to the original Predator. I'm the only one laughing, or I guess laughing might be a polite term. Only one reacting to certain references to the original movie.
Oh, I couldn't understand them. I mean, when I'm reading "You Beautiful Motherfucker," I'm like, wow, I didn't catch that line last time.
I guffawed.
The other thing I want to mention is when I went the second time, I thought I was going to be completely alone in the screening. I mean, it was me, eventually a couple, and another single guy. Again, all of whom could have seen Predator in 87 were there. This movie, we'll talk about the box office, but it didn't blow anyone away.
You know what? We keep dancing around this thing. Let's get to it. Arnie, what about a plot summary?
There's a bit of a disagreement in Predator society. See, we learned in this movie that predators aren't really a pure species, and they don't just hunt so they can have human heads in their living rooms. No, they hunt the strongest of each species across the galaxy and rip out their spines so that they can have the spinal fluid to take the DNA. They then merge that DNA with their own species and try to force evolution to make them stronger and faster. And speaking of fast, they're working fast to hunt us humans because we aren't going to be around much longer. Global warming will wipe us out in 1 to 2 generations. So the predators come here quite a bit to get our DNA before we perish. But one rogue predator doesn't agree with his species hunting humans, so he's rebelled. He stole a ship and a weapon that humans can use to fight the predators. Not help global warming, I guess we're just fucked on that, but we can fight predators that come here until we die 2 generations from now. But he's attacked and followed to Earth by, Predator Cop? Some kind of law enforcement predator. He has predator dogs with him, and he's reporting back to Predator High Command or something. Well, on Earth, the rogue predator ship crashes in Mexico, a crash witnessed by U.S. Army sniper Quinn McKenna, played by Boyd Holbrook. The pilot escaped the crash, and now on Earth, the predator who came to help us fight predators starts killing every human he gets around. Quinn finds the predator's helmet and arm piece, and the arm piece helps him wound the predator, so McKenna takes the armor as evidence of an alien encounter and escapes. He goes to a Mexican town where Javier LaCroix plays a bartender who mails the armor to McKenna's P.O. box. But into the area come the Men in Black, led by Sterling K. Brown's character Traeger. He knows about the predators and their history. He has McKenna caught and interrogated, and when McKenna lets something slip about aliens, he's put on a bus to go to an insane asylum along with 5 other crazy ex-military members. Now, Nebraska Williams, played by Trevante Rhodes, is in lockup for shooting himself in the head, then walking to the hospital for medical help. Coyle, played by Keegan-Michael Key, is in lockup for shooting and killing his squad. Then we have Nettles, a pilot who's locked up for reasons. I think maybe he's being persecuted for being Christian. We have Lynch, played by Alfie Allen.
You gotta explain this one to me.
He's an explosives expert and a close-up magic expert, and he has an obsession with entropy.
And he's Irish. Don't know why he's in America.
And finally, Baxley, played by Thomas Jane, who I really didn't recognize for like half of the first time I watched this movie.
I didn't know it was him until the credits. I swear to God, I'm looking at the, oh, that's Thomas Jane? Oh my God!
And he seems to be locked up because he has Tourette's.
I want to say that I stand corrected on this closed caption thing because I caught none of these names but Nebraska. In my notes, it's Olivia Munn, it's Theon Greyjoy, it's all these different names for these people, so I had no idea what anyone's name was, including the lead. I still don't know the guy's name, and I didn't catch the CIA guy, the guy from This Is Us. I had no idea what his character's name was. Thank you for telling me this.
Oh, that's okay. In my notes, I have Sniper, Moon,
yeah,
because I was misspelling Munn, so it's Moon with 2 U's, the kid, and then I actually kept calling Key Peel. So I'm like, wow, he made Get Out and then went to do this silly shit?
It took an hour into the movie, and I had an epiphany. Oh, it's the kid from Room. No idea. I had no idea until half. Anyway, keep going with your summary. Sorry.
And yeah, I had Irish guy, and then finally I had Thomas Jane. But okay. Meanwhile, all this is playing out. Traeger calls evolutionary biologist Dr. Casey Brackett, played by Olivia Munn, because the Predator is revealed to have human DNA, and that's when the humans learn what I said earlier about the Predators and DNA. Brackett says she needs to talk to McKenna for biology reasons. I don't know how that's going to help her DNA analysis. So the bus taking the loonies to the mental ward turns around and instead goes to Project Stargazer in Atlanta. And by the way, I call them the loonies. That's what the script calls them. That's what they call themselves. I am not disparaging those with mental health issues. But then the Predator, who I want to say again, came here to help us fight predators, wakes up and kills everyone in the lab, and it wants its toys back. Most people die, but Traeger gets the hell out, and Brackett, the biologist college professor, grabs a gun and starts to hunt the fleeing predator. Witnessing this from outside, Nebraska and McKenna get the group to help them subdue the guards and hijack the bus to give chase and try to kill the predator. But the predator does escape, and Traeger orders Brackett killed, so the loonies team up and save her, and they get on the run from Traeger's homicidal men. Now let's meet McKenna's son Rory and McKenna's ex-wife Emily, because this plot isn't crowded enough. Emily is played by Yvonne Strahovski, though. Rory has Asperger's syndrome and is incredibly smart. Because McKenna's P.O. box was closed for lack of payment, the box he sent with the Predator weapons went to Rory's house, and the boys started playing with them. This alerts the policeman Predator, who's called Upgrade in the script. He's 11 foot tall because he merged with different DNA, and now he knows where the rogue Predator's gear has gone. So the two Predators race to get to Rory, as do McKenna and his new friends. They all arrive in Tennessee about the same time where Rory lives, and the rogue Predator captures Rory and is about to kill him to get the gear back when the Upgrade is fully revealed and kills the vanilla Predator. McKenna and the men with Rory and Brackett run but are captured by Traeger's men. Traeger finds out from Rory where the ship is and convinces the kid to use his super brain to open the hatch. But Upgrade is there too, on the hunt for the weapon Rogue brought to the planet. Then McKenna escapes from Traeger's men, and with the help from the loonies, they steal a news chopper and go to Florida to save Rory. So we get all three factions to this ship in Florida, and Upgrade gets on the ship first and says in English, through a translator bot, there's only one true warrior in the group, McKenna, and he will capture McKenna and kill the rest. So Traeger and McKenna's group put aside their differences and try to fight the Upgrade, but the Upgrade kills most of them one by one. Then he gets to McKenna, but it's Rory McKenna who is the warrior because autism is the next step of human evolution. So Rory is the most evolved there. Upgrade throws Rory in a cell and takes off in the ship to go back to Predator World, but McKenna and Nebraska jump on the flying ship. ship. Nebraska sacrifices himself to blow up the Predator's engine, making it crash. Then McKenna and Upgrade fight Mono a Predator, and with the help from a sucker punch from Brackett, Upgrade is killed. We then jump shortly into the future and back to Project Stargazer, where McKenna is now a captain and one of the leads of the project. Rory is like their chief scientist. He's the Wesley Crusher of the crew.
A child is literally running it.
And they found the weapon the vanilla Predator brought to humanity, an Iron Man-like suit of armor that looks like a poorly rendered CGI Robo-Predator. And McKenna says that's his new suit. As